Alright, hello everybody. This is TV Ultimate here. And, what a difficult time it was. The Trinity is definitely like one of the only books that really resonates with me because it's my journey, my spiritual journey to find peace within myself, and that's not a bad thing. You don't have to believe me, you don't have to do anything. Okay? I'm just pouring out my soul here, so because I can't express it in any other way but the word. And that is what feels good in actuality. But I will make notes, probably be just marks at this point because I've achieved a higher level of understanding that I can myself understand, which is fine. It's holy, it's good, it needs to happen. But yeah, everything I feel like is done in the house. The traffic's taken out, my laundry's done, and yeah, I can kind of flush and get rid of my older clothes, so that's good. And after nourishing my daughter to this thing, I was taking my purse. Basically said, hey, your imperfections will be striking you down on your deeper soul forever and always. That's gone because it's made whole and also it's still there. But what I write is through my scars, if I write at all. And so that is unbounded, unimpeded knowledge and understanding that is poured out into the pages now. That's what it is. The blood is the scars represented by the two pencils, the red pencil and the black pencil. Black pencil is the scars. The red pencil is the blood. Sorry. Yeah, it is done, and I can finally move on. I've always wanted to do this. This is the thing. I've always wanted to talk about my books very openly as a video. Do not necessarily edit them in the ways that one can deem as normal. Like rewriting it, retyping it, but I like to express it in words. I don't necessarily like editing things without talking about it. Yeah. The Trinity is probably the book that I could not come up with a name. So I just designated it as the Trinity. It's literally the unnamed book. This is the unnamed book. This is the transition from the old series to the new series, which is what I've always felt like. So it's symbolic of what I'm going through right now. If you're kind of struggling, yeah, you kind of write about that which defines you, and it's forever you just going through your struggles constantly through your writing. Everything you do, you are taking it out on yourself, and that's just no good. You shouldn't do that. Honestly, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to put that burden on myself, but I do. I've done, and I still do, but that's okay. I feel like I come out of a really deep pit, like purgatory, and I'm now ready to rebuild, ready to be on the plane of hell, which is this plane of existence. Yes, it sounds bad, but hell to me is a place of rebuilding. It's a place to build people up and whatever. It's always a place of healing, of great healing. You heal your greatest weaknesses and make them your greatest strengths in heaven. God created hell to be the counterpart to heaven, to have people rebuild themselves. But so doing, before Jesus, when you rebuild your sins, you were just going to the plane of existence, and you had to be good in the plane of existence originally to be able to get to heaven, like fully, because heaven was considered pure before that point, and became a little corrupted, but it was beautiful. The imperfections made heaven stronger in a way, stronger than anything that they could imagine, because the imperfect is perfect. Perfection is imperfection. That is the inverse. They are always the inverse. So, very interesting, huh? Deep philosophical things, but that's kind of where my mind's at right now. And like, the Trinity is where it gets very philosophical, it gets very metaphysical, and it describes each domain that you encounter in life, detail by detail. And it has many layers, it has many structures, and it's basically one of the most powerful books you can ever read. This is the unnamed book because the name doesn't have a meaning to it. The Trinity is just a denotion of the three domains or whatever. There is no name. You can't think of a name for this book, and that's fine. Because it does not need a name. It does not need a name. It is just the unnamed book. Like in Underworld, when I did that review of Southern Mexico, you have 360 days in the unnamed days. This is actually part of like Aztec philosophy, right? The unnamed days are the days that kind of cleanse, the days that kind of set you free and set people free. It is to unwind and be one with the Holy Spirit in a way, but it's warped, it's twisted, it's whatever because it's like God's love is always universal, and it's us that corrupt it in special little ways. But that's fine. That is fine. You gotta live with the imperfections, and that's good. But yeah, I feel good. Um, vortex because that is the step to recovery. Even though you encounter a demon which is bad and whatever they tell you, you should encounter your demons. You should bring yourself real low. You bring yourself to the muck and through the shit and the bottom, you can achieve great things. Don't mind you, you can achieve great things, okay? Because that is the path to recovery. It seems opposite and backwards, but that is the path to recovery. I have achieved and will continue to achieve moving forward. I will not stop till I keep working on myself. Because I know I'm still not perfect. And I don't have to be. I just have to get to the right point and day after day after day that convinces me to keep going. That is the life struggle. That is the fun part. All this is fun. Exposing myself is the funnest thing I will ever do. It's something that gives me life and gives me meaning when I've been so dissociated with the world and society and everything. Literally everything. To the point where my soul was almost ripped from my body and I was nothing. I was almost nothing, but then I became something special. That's okay. You gotta release. You know? It's the way to go. You have to release something. Okay. Something's gotta give. And that is the ultimate prize. Redemption, eternal. Deal with our own problems. We can be godly ourselves. With Him. Not actual literal gods, but with Him is what I mean. Sacred and holy. I'm gonna hear this section.
And earlier, when I got married 62 years ago, that was kind of like, okay. Me and a few other team members decided this was such a special moment for Georgia that we wanted to give it to one of the.
This isn't Phoenix, by the way. I'm in Arizona. That was priceless. I got it. Yeah, you can find it in 2 minutes. Do my mood and whatever. It was synced. You wonder why I have TV Ultimate. Well, the TV is actually one of my favorite mediums to express my feelings and thoughts and whatever. The whole time you've been watching TV, you've been watching my words and thoughts and struggles, all unabated, all unabashed, just there. You just haven't realized it yet. And that's okay. Greater understanding is hard to handle, but I'm here for you. This is the intro to the Trinity. Okay? Not written, but or typed, but said and spoken. So how does the universe work? You've always wanted to know, right? Well, I'm here to tell you, and you don't have to listen if you don't want to, your own beliefs or whatever. I don't know. But the universe has these mechanisms. The mechanisms of the universe, they run all the time, and they keep going, and they touch on an individual and spiritual level at all times. The best way to introduce you to this idea is probably the first Avatar movie. You want to watch anything that's really good, and that is the best-selling movie of all time right now. Gross, right? Avatar will literally speak to you. It will show you things you did not expect to see. If you haven't seen it, see it. If you have seen it, see it again. It is something that's very important, and it is a message that speaks to how to find the inner soul and the Holy Spirit and all of that. How to find a religion again and make it solid. It's a connection, it's whatever. It's a cry for help from God saying, hey, you be there with me. So this is where I also reveal like how you should read and look at the works that I would express my soul with. You have the outer soul, which encapsulates the inner soul. The inner soul is the really inner part. These are like spheres, right? They could be transparent or opaque, and they're like black to gray or whatever, right? And it's the little things of green. Think of like Jimmy Neutron and that delicate planet. That's basically the inner soul right there. Funny enough, that is the literal representation of that soul. But yeah, in a way, this is our way to kind of start from the outside in perspective, right? The outer to the inner, the surface to the deep, the lower levels. There are 3 levels to the soul, like I said. There's so the Holy Spirit bounds the it's wound up like a yarn ball right around, and it is the yarn that winds around the inner soul. The Holy Spirit does that because it binds what is human and what is not human, and is also like the call of the universe, basically. That's what binds that agent, and it's connected by a thread to the outer soul, which can leave the outer soul if it wants to. The cord, the life cord and the soul cord are one and the same, and they are unabashed, they are fine, they are wonderful, they are our connections to reality and whatever. When it is cut, when the thread is cut, that is our non-existence, basically. It's very dangerous. Extending yourself past your point, past the point of your soul is very dangerous. But it can be achieved by my mom. That was a special case where she went out of body, and the cord was always there. You had to have the cord with you to survive the journey, right? But you went out of her body and saw things that nobody else could see. In essentially a limbo, kind of the plane of existence where ghosts and other supernatural creatures and beings exist. Yes, if we thought of it, we thought it was fantasy, it's not fantasy anymore. Because in the mechanisms of the universe, I'll break this down, right? But yeah, so I will break it down as far as the soul first. The soul is where we need to start first. Alright, so the soul. We start at surface level, mid level, and then lower levels. Those are the layers of the soul. So it's hard to explain this, but in this reality, it was two rare fucking Lara Croft that plunged us all into darkness and despair. Those games were too good to be actually made. So their power and their hold over us is kind of messed up. Like we were all suffering in the same purgatory that Tomb Raider played all of us. We were stuck in literal Tomb Raider hell. And pulling ourselves out of it is something that unshackles our minds us, but also makes us stronger. So yeah, how do I explain this? So the mechanisms of the universe are very funny. So there are 5 realities, and there's a timeline thread that does not go to the prior universe, making it unbounded by proof or whatever. But it still exists. It always existed the prior universe before this one. And it was for 426 quadrillion and 552 years. I remember that exact number because I was the god of that. But in all honesty, you wonder what started life in the first place. It is actually the spirit of persistence. Persistence persists. And the end of the lore is basically the end of life, which is something that puts the spirit of persistence to rest. Right? It makes it have meaning. It lives in the middle. It doesn't live at the beginning or the end of time and space. It lives in the middle. It persists through all of us. Persisting is actually not a good thing. It's something that corrupts everything. And everything is tarnished and worn and buried and whatever. And everything is made imperfect because of the spirit of persistence. And that is why we have imperfections right there. It's the spirit of persistence that plagues all of us deeply and in many ways. So, to unshackle yourself from the spirit of persistence is very dangerous, but it is also needed. This video, since it kind of alludes to suicide, which I don't tell you to kill yourself or kill anybody else. Do not do that. Do not do that. This is just a message. If you don't agree with it, fine. You don't have to agree with it. This is just what I feel, and I'm pretty stable right now. I'm more stable than I ever was. And that is because of God. I sound like a crazy and insane person, but I am not. I tell you and I implore you to explore further into your religion, your faith, and your denomination, and your political views, and see if they are actually stand up. See if all the things that you hold that bar you from God in actuality actually stand up, hold out, question everything. That's the sci-fi logo. That's what the Greek philosophers did. They questioned literally everything because they had no idea what was there and what wasn't there. See, there is or isn't. There is no wrong or good. There's no gray. There's nothing. There's just is or is not. That is always how it is and always how it has not been. It's plain and simple. There's no complications. There's no nothing. Is, isn't it? That's it. Pick or choose. So, yeah, I might bounce around several topics, but this is to give you a good idea of where my head's at. It doesn't have to have logical order because, like, this is very heavy. I understand. This is so TMI that it's not even funny. But yeah, I am in touch with myself, and I know my body pretty well. I know when it can be sick, when it can be healed, when it's corrupted, when it's not. I know those exact things, I can smell it. I can smell my own scent. I know what my scent is. And that's crazy because I have not experienced my scent before. The scent is something that is psychologically damaging, but also uplifting to people. They don't use their sense of smell, and they don't know their scent, so they can't make good decisions based on that. And yeah, it sounds weird, but yeah, the scent is what makes you able to see things from a different perspective. Um, so yeah, you have the prior universe, and then you have the new universe. So what happens is you have reality, right? Reality is fragile, but it's still holding. And then what rips reality is the death of two people that were strongly tied to it. Uh, Tyler and Brain in the lore were ripped out of the lore, and that's what disheveled it and caused there to be five realities instead of one. And like the prior universe from the past was actually something that carried through to this reality. Unfortunately, because of how powerful it was and how just rendering it was to the fabric of space and time and everything, it actually rolled up one of the realities. It's now like a Pringles can? You can think of it like a Pringles can. You have both ends that are open, and you can close either end. No problem, with something. But yeah, that's literally one of the realities. So realities are broken down into places that are basically representations of the universe. They themselves are the representations of the universe and how they interact with each other. So the first one, which is the lowest one, is the created, which is any creative works exist in their own little world. Of course, there are two strong ones that really held it together. And now are unshackled, finally. Jeez. Yeah, so the created can live now forever in peace without it being tied to any other reality. So let me break this down slowly. The created is a place of absolute hell. It is absolute hell. It's not any salvation, it's absolute hell. And in that, you have my books, which tie it all together. My books are the one thing that provides the strings for every other book in history. Because it's been all leading up to this point where I can actually publish it, talk about it, and write about it. Because in the past, I wasn't able to. So we have that, and then we have the second reality, which is not reality, it's the illusion world. The illusion world is a very interesting touch because you're not supposed to know that it's the mental playground and hell of the first God that created everything by the spirit of persistence. It's my own personal hell that I just manipulate things with. Part of like a cruel curse from Jehovah, the other God, the one that was created, because he did not like how I made the perfect world and universe. Essentially, he was disgusted by it, and he wanted all the imperfections he could think of, and that was what caused me to have the curse of the imperfection curse, is what I call it. One of the oldest curses ever known to man, and everybody else. Yeah, we used to know about this curse, and it was pretty bad. It would be in like some shining examples throughout human history, but the curse is bad. It's real. The imperfection curse is basically every time you corrupt your soul, it becomes permanent, right? actually on your soul. You know what? That's okay. That's okay because the imperfections actually make us stronger. But yeah, you will have like black marks on your soul that will appear on your body if you reveal them through the cleansing fire. You heard of the purifying fire, the cleansing fire? Yeah. It reveals all. It reveals the believe it or not, it actually reveals all these scars you have, represented by black, inky lines, kind of like Benny and the Ink Machine or something like that. Yeah. And the problem was that this curse was so prevalent in the second version and every other version to come out after the first version. It was so bad because Tyler had so many scars on his body, on the inner soul, that everybody else started to have scars, just plain and simple, by association with Tyler. Which Tyler, since he is the creator, it falls on everybody else. So everybody has these scars, these wounds that cannot heal, that cannot mend. And yeah, that's the so God kind of plunged us into darkness and Himself, and actually like gave us something that would make us stronger in the end, but would make us weaker in the moment. The scars exist in everyone, but mine are just so much because I'm the original one to get the curse. So we have versions 1 through 6, right? Then we have a seventh version, which is the version that can actually allow us to break our curses essentially, and just come back to reality, which was lost for us for so long that we don't even know what's real anymore. Honestly, in our day-to-day lives, we have no idea what's real anymore. We have to reaffirm it. We try to make things to handle the reality that we have in our lives, but we can't. It always has a void. Always. So, so every single version of the universe you could think of as being written and typed and published by me. I know it's pretty, but I am literally writing my own books as the life in the created. And so, as a result, the created becomes the illusion world. That is what exists. They are tied together because of that. And stuff is so weird, so fascinating that Tomb Raider, which was within the books, manifested itself into something unholy and unrighteous that just plunged us all into our own purgatories as a result of being a part of the created. See, it was never supposed to be made. Tomb Raider was never supposed to be made ever. But somehow God let it slip that Tomb Raider needed to be made, and there were 14 canonical games made in the series that were our purgatories, and we would essentially live life through each game, through each soundtrack that was in the games, and we would also live through the books that I write in the created, because the created became a false version of the illusion world, and that's what consumed us into a purgatory. On top of having the curse and scars, which is insane, I know, but that's really what happened. We were literally trapped and shackled in Tomb Raider land for I don't know how long. It's impossible to put a date on how long. But then on Monday, 1 week ago, that was when I unshackled us. I had to bring myself out of it so that I could bring everybody else out of it. And Today, a week later, I am able to relinquish the curse. So the curse no longer has a hold on all of us because by association, the curse was abounding in everybody else. And that was something that was eating me up inside. It caused all those scars to be the most difficult thing to get rid of, but also keep at the same time, ever. But they are permanent and they are definitely helping out. They are whole. They're actually made whole and made better. So everybody has the ability to have the Holy Spirit now because I have all of you. And yeah, if you want to know how I feel about the soul, I already told you about the soul. It's already there. You just have to listen. Because the created and those two things were really like so prevalent that they are actually the word. They are the struggles, they are everything. They tell you basically how to unshackle yourself, but also how you are unshackled and how you're looking at the world around you in the wrong ways. It details it perfectly. So, that being said, let's plunge into the final thing before I talk about the books. My unnamed book. Okay. It doesn't have a name, and that's perfect. That's beautiful. Okay. Okay, so there's a certain order to things. Okay. So as far as like Tomb Raider, there are two parts of it that you need to listen to. Surface level, my soul surface level, which if you hear, you'll be enlightened and you'll be able to unshackle yourself from all these problems. You literally have no problems. You are pure. You are good. You are holy, and you are good to go. But don't take my word for it if you don't feel comfortable. Okay, don't. All right. I care deeply about all of you. I love you all, and I own worst enemy because I took it out on everybody. And so this is me kind of being redeemed, and it's me kind of apologizing. But I don't expect you to rely on me or anything else. Just let me be. This is why this video is going to be sacred and is only going to be for certain people because not everybody can handle the message, the actual message as brought by God Himself. So we won't touch the other three realities because we are in the here and now. We don't need to touch that. We are not, our purpose is not to touch those. That is our true purpose. That is how we should see things. Okay. Surface level is the songs of Tomb Raider, the soundtracks, the official soundtracks. Those are the ones that you need to listen to 1 through 14. The games, all of them. It speaks to the journey of my soul and whatever. It's in the music. There's no lyrics of any kind. It's just pure, unadulterated, unfiltered music. And yeah, the first 6 games are like, what? It ends with Angel of Darkness, right? Okay. Those are the first 6 versions, believe it or not. And then Legend, Anniversary, and Underworld are the 7th version. The part that we just got rid of, literally just got rid of. Those are done. Part 2 is like Guardian of Light and Temple of Osiris. And then the final part is, or no, one of the final parts is like Rise of the Tomb Raider and Tomb Raider 2013, Reborn. Reborn comes first, and then Rise of the Tomb Raider, and it's reality. And then the end, the very end is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, okay? That's the order that we need to go in for Tomb Raider side. And so those are the order of games that you need to play and actually like hear the review for all of them. The reviews are what gives you the mid level, which is the Holy Spirit.
And like, you know, I made my personal videos for years. I made them since 2017, but I was afraid to expose them. I did not know what would come of it. And they speak simple truths, yes, but and they seem to be about the games and the levels, but everything about Tomb Raider was literally my purgatory. Everything. So there you go. That's why I was so close to the why I kept coming back. Get a drink of water. This is a lot to digest for me too. Okay, guys. I had to come to terms with this. It is real, but that's in my opinion. Okay, you don't have to believe me or anything like that. Okay, non-threatening. All right, don't. All right, cool. But what I have to say is, oh man, dealing with all these problems um, really plunged my books into a downward spiral as well. So you have 9 main books of the series, right? And the 9th book is revealed. The title is revealed. Okay. To me right now. But the books are the lower levels. They are the in detail parts, and they are the ones that resonate. The word pure and true throughout is the unnamed book, which is the transition, which is the Trinity. So that is the word unadulterated, unfiltered. I'm just gonna read it. I don't think I need to write anything on it, but I will write like one thing, and that's it. The thread, and that's it. I literally don't need to write on it because that's not how I edit. I don't edit by typing. I actually edit by talking about it. That is my way of editing. That is the perfect way. I should have realized that I had editing, but no, I did not realize that in time. And my book suffered as a result, but that's okay. So we will cut the other 3 realities. Sorry. So we have the potential to go to reality. Reality is number 3. It's the grounded one. It's the one that we should be in, but aren't in. We were in it for the first version of the universe of the illusion world, but now we can actually be a part of that once again and be reunited with the reality, which is so different and messed up that it's not really recognizable anymore. Like it is strayed so far from the illusion world that it's not even funny. So, like everything's warped, everything's different, and there are rules. There are very strict rules, but you just can't process them because it's just so massive of a place. And like in reality, you know, you have hell as the most powerful domain of them all, and ruling over everything. Yes. Can you believe that hell is the one that survives out of the 3 domains? From the jump from illusion world to reality, and then existing in reality, you know. What does it doesn't exist. But there are certain planets and places that you can go that would still be attached to reality, and those are kind of the life threads that bind the illusion world and the created to the other realities. Because without it, you know, the universe would collapse on itself, and reality and the created would be gone, completely gone, and I would leave the illusion world just floating in the non-existence, the ether, so to speak. We would literally dishevel everything and mess with time, space, and the fabric of reality as we know it. but slowly but surely the tethers have been waning. They have been threading, they have been fraying, and essentially we are losing our ties to reality, which means we are actually losing ourselves. Everything is going down and collapsing in on itself because of how badly works the illusion world made everything. Not just one reality, but every single reality is suffering because of the illusion world and how badly my plunge into it affected things is tangible. It's scary how bad the mental state of me, which was the mental state of the universe, collapsed in on itself and tried to piece itself together. But resonating with the universe is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it can be the most uplifting thing in the world, you know? Like, I can feel things that no other person can feel. I can feel inanimate objects. I can control things with my mind behind the background. Even when I'm talking to you right now, there's another part of me that's going and doing something else. It's crazy. Okay. But, yeah. The shepherd of his people reveals himself, and that's a sign of the end times. This is the end time. I'm not going to be sugarcoating it. It is the end times. I think all of you have felt that way with the COVID and everything else, that it would be the end times. And yes, you are correct. It is a sign of the end times. 2027 is the last year that we have to live. But that's beautiful because we're actually able to go to reality, unshackle ourselves from reality and the illusion world, and able to move on to reality and essentially put the illusion world on standby. That is what is foretold. Illusion world is on standby. Heaven literally collapses in on itself because heaven is not supposed to exist in reality. The illusion world, in a way, reflects actual reality. But I send the reality immediately to fix reality up so that the illusion world is ready to become reality. And the created is gone. It's destroyed, it's disheveled, it's gone. Because that's what we need. By being tied to the created at the same time as the reality is just what is ripping the universe apart and it's ripping all of us apart. In some way or another, you know, it's really driving us nuts and crazy in our own special way. So we create these fortresses inside our mind to try and hide from them, but it's not helping. You know, like when I tell you about reality, I say reality, and I mean it. It is reality, like unbounded, unimpeded. Reality is reality. It always is and always was. There's no solid definition for what reality is because it doesn't exist for us, and we can't see it. We can't ever see it until we go to heaven and we're allowed to go into the illusion world. But I take it upon myself to actually go to reality and make that extremely difficult journey, which requires so much power that you're in tune with the illusion world, you know, so you can pass through the barrier, no problems whatsoever. You can pass it through reality. But yeah, and then beyond reality is the prequel canon. It's literally the rolled up piece of paper that is juxtaposed alongside the regular reality, essentially. It's beyond reality because it has beings that are fifth dimensional. And the beings can exist as people or inanimate objects or whatever. There's no bounds in that place. So it needs to be locked off. It needs to be closed off and guarded because it would corrupt everything else into reality. Reality is kind of perfect, it's kind of pure, it's the one thing that's not warped in any kind or any sense. So revealing beyond reality to it would actually destroy it. Bringing down ultimate reality, which is the fifth reality, not the fourth, which is beyond reality, which is juxtaposed and fourth dimensional as well. Yeah, if you brought down ultimate reality, what would happen is the same thing that happened to beyond reality. It would literally roll up into a Pringles can, and combining the two would cause them to implode upon each other, and essentially all is lost, except for the ultimate universe, which is secret, sacred, and holy and unholy. It is a different version of the universe that stemmed off from the decision to have me be brought down low and lose my powers after making the universe and having that curse. It's the basically perfection universe. It's perfect in every way, shape, and form. Tyler keeps his powers. That's the branch. He keeps his powers in everything and manifests himself in everything. So it's not so bad to end the lore, to end the actual universe, because you'll always have the alternate universe forever and always. That will be the eternal bliss, the eternal happiness, the eternal paradise right there. So we can relax, we can settle. I'll let you settle in, and I will start at 1 hour. Because I know how hard this is to hear, but let me tell you how true it is. If you wanted to know for like the games and the books, like the surface level where we're at. So the songs and the games, right? The surface and mid level of the souls. Um, yeah, that would be. We just finished Underworld, and now we're starting Guardian of the Lights. Those are the soundtracks and game reviews that you need to hear, which I don't have yet. They will be done, but they will be done in the right time and in the right place, I think. But from here on out, I think I should actually put my videos out, because I think people need to hear how I talk, and then reaffirming me reaffirms myself in a way. Like I can't be silent about things, and that's kind of what ultimately was within me all along. I couldn't be silent about things because I knew there was some wrong with the world and wrong with several people and problems that needed to be fixed, but I just didn't know how to convey that. And my video reviews are some kind of way um, to get over that, because, well, I mean, if it's the inner soul, then I'm basically, if I give a rating, it's a rating the inner soul. If I harmonize with these games, then it's basically I'm harmonizing with the soul. If it's I'm writing about how I feel, it's basically the written word of the soul. So there are three types of communication with the soul. And the surface level is harmony. The second level is what is it? Perseverance, basically, which is like the actual action of doing stuff. It's activity, basically. That's perseverance, right? And then the last one, which is the lower levels, which is the book, is the written. You write. So these are how you express your soul in different ways, and how you can be uplifted or not in different ways. These are the three ways to communicate that, and I've communicated that in all three ways. So it is universal, pretty much. Universal, unabashed, and like, believe it or not, English is the universal language. That is the universal language. Everything else is stemmed off of that. Chris. You already have it. Okay, it's okay. Don't believe everything I tell you. It's okay. I know your defenses well, and I know that you don't want to be hurt. And I feel the struggle, and I have to feel comfort in putting me in a place that I shouldn't go. It's okay. It's okay, man. It's okay. And with that, I'm able to wipe the soul as represented by this body. That was the quesadilla. I'm able to go around and around and then done. Done now, on and forever. Words, the soul is complete. The seance is finally done. We are all cleansed with first. Congratulations. You guys survived your struggles and you will struggle no longer. You only struggle now because of your own mind. There you go. Not because of anything else. Okay. So, careful about hearing this. This is not for everyone, okay? This is for only certain people. This is very dangerous works right here. Right here is a very dangerous book, okay? You do not need to hear it all the way, but now you can, and you can hear all the books, and you can actually like, read all the books now, unabated, perfectly fine. Because everybody I sent it to, they couldn't get past the third book because we weren't in that period yet. But now you can read all my books, unabated, unabashed. If you need to hook me up with, a book more to your liking, I think I can provide you with that if you need one. But this is kind of like my talk, my word. I would say this is like this video is like the word, and that's it. The word is all you need to know. The word. This is the unnamed book. Let's talk about it. Okay. I can tell what the levels were by the paintings on each level facing outwards, and they were quite detailed. I asked what the paintings were for, and severe lustful wrath said that they were barriers. These are barriers meant to keep the sins separate, and no sinner can figure out how to get through them. The bus stopped to a grinding halt in front of the tower. We were all kicked off and forced to go into the elevator on the outside of the tower. I took the time to look at the tower through for a few minutes before embarking on my journey. There was an emphasis on shapes on every level, and there seemed to be a representative body part on display for each level. I studied hell every time I went here. It wasn't too often that I met the devil, but when I did, I would be given a full tour. He would also display all the gratuitous acts as the overseer of hell, and his own people would be the victims. There were 9 places in hell. I remember the other 2 quite fondly, and in Earth time it would translate to 2,000 years ago. That was the last time I went to hell, but I don't remember how I died. It had to be sometime after the destruction of Earth. The circumstance, though, I had no idea. I just knew that I sinned a lot of life and I paid the price. I should be able to control which domain I go to when I die, but I suspect that God is involved with my afterlife. Anyway, there were 2 other rings. They had something to do with anguish and torment. They were the fibers of hell. Every creature in the entire universe had suffered from these 2 abuses. That what they were, abuses. Acts committed against someone else or oneself. Anguish was the act of suffering pain, a victim of someone else or themselves that prevented creatures from functioning normally. Torment was the act of causing suffering to others and would be established as different than wrath. More sinister and more thought was put into it. Where were they? I don't know. They probably wouldn't fit in this tower because they would have to be represented by a body part, I'm sure. What body part would they have? I think Anguish would have the soul and Torment would have the body. Where would they be placed? Probably at the basement level, since all creatures will have these two characteristics. What would be on those particular levels? Well, I think Anguish would have punishments against self-abuse, either starving them of that abuse or letting them have that abuse in excess. I will be back. Careful now. Each page will be rough. Each page will go throughout everyone, and it will be massively foretelling.
So I was meant to talk about the word when I was at my lowest point in the universe and everything collapsed on itself. It was on the verge of everything breaking. Existence, even the alternate universe would have broke if I hadn't pulled myself out of this.
Like literally, the fabric of space and time would have been gone, because I was the lifeblood of the universe, unfortunately. I had so many scars and whatever that it was like a black hole sucking me in myself into my own problems. And holy shit, that was bad. I pulled myself out somehow, but I was also on the lowest form of soul you can have, one that is not really capable of love. Like it's very little. It's like the size of a pencil, basically. That's how much love. And you know, like diameter wise, pencil. That's how big. And yeah, it's just crazy just how much I was able to give myself back and not have my soul ripped from my body and destroy everything, and able to bring it all together and offer us an opportunity. The universe shook 2 times. 2 times did the universe shake violently. It affected the universe that we live in and the timeline and everything. Everything started to fray. Everything started to crack when Jesus was able to go back into hell and free all the people. But that was before the event of what? That was before the event where Tyler and Brandon both died to the apocalypse. It literally shook quite a bit, and it was actually 3 times. It shook quite a bit, you know. Cracks started to appear, started to form, tears in the fabric of time and whatever. And that's what caused the 5 realities. And then when Jesus went back to hell, that caused another shaking, more violent than the last one. And the timeline was all worried. The timeline was warped. It branched off in ways that didn't make sense, but all existed at the same time. It was nonsensical. And then the final shaking was when I almost died. My soul almost got ripped from my body. That was the final shaking. That was the one that broke the straws. It started to show cracks in the universe that were never thought to be possible. Cracks that ran very deep and very, very permanent. Like there's literal tears in the universe that's still the plane of existence into the plane of non-existence, which exists everywhere. You know, it's very scary. It's very like there are literal holes and shreds and tears in the universe right now because of that event. But it had to happen, and the end is a way to kind of mend all this hurt and whatever that's been building up. Because like they only crack and tear along the places that they were already cracking and tearing in the first place, all along, you know, because of the new universe as opposed to the old universe, right? Because the old universe was perfect and essentially destroyed so that a new one could be made, and that definitely had an impact on the new universe. You know, the new universe was not right in the beginning, and it never was. And yeah, so there's like a time limit, but there's no worry. Like it's 2027, but you should think of it as like a relief. You get to finally die in peace. You have meaning in your life now. You can enjoy every moment, knowing what time you die. You know, is a wonderful experience. I would say it's not negative. Death was never negative to the Muslims or the Israeli people or the Jewish people. It was never negative, but they had a hard time conveying that it was not negative because they wanted to believe it was negative. They wanted to believe there was something wrong with it because living was just so good, right? Yeah, I don't believe all your but I speak with one mind through the earth, through everything else. The spirit of persistence compels me to do so. Sorry. This is the word, and you don't have to believe any of it, or all of it. That's fine. Okay, so, and the unnamed book doesn't start at page 0 or 1, or whatever you want to call it. It starts at page 33 if you want to know. The main book is the Trinity, blah, 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 shit. So let's go in, and now we have a complete understanding so I can go unabashed. As far as torment goes, you would probably have the abuser be abused by the victim. Not only that, but it would probably be like a vicious cycle and there would be no mercy. What would the creatures look like? No idea, but if the creatures on this plus are a representation of what they would look like, then I suspect that they would look like animals. I've heard and seen the new coming creatures of hell becoming more grotesque and human-like the longer they stay in hell, so that is probably the case. Sometimes hell is random about transformations, but each level is supposed to change the entities based on their desires to sin. Obviously, this isn't the case. Severe lustful wrath doesn't seem to exhibit the characteristics of lust or wrath with his body. He is formless, which might indicate sloth and nothing more. So I guess the transformations are at the whim of hell itself and are pretty much a slot machine. Do the people of hell redeem themselves? Yes. Usually after a long time of transforming, the creatures of hell are allowed to go beyond this plane. Usually they are in another form, their memory is erased, and they appear in their past life. Sometimes they go to the plane of non-existence, sometimes they go to another domain. However, there is usually a food outcome from going into hell. And this place is meant to work on your soul more than anything. This is not the way that God sees it. He sees it as a place of punishment, not a place of redemption. This fact causes some creatures of hell in hell to suffer more than others. Sometimes, though, its wrath is unquenchable. Anyway, back to the design of the tower, which is quite detailed and has 7 barriers. The top level is simple. It is lust. The detailed designs of the barrier and the images that are personified symbolize the sin. There's a dark circle at the center of the level that extends outward to another circle that looks like clouds. I think the first ring is meant to look like an eye. The dark circle is its pupil, and the outside part is the iris, but it is unshaded. Beyond that, there is another ring where another iris is being cast, I think. The eye was to represent interest in something, a desire, a craving. The iris is unshaded because there is much to be desired. Anyway, we move on to the last ring. To the east and west positions, there is a female and a male respectively. On the north position, there is a penis, and on the south position, there is a vagina. Then it extends outwards to nothingness, then tentacles beyond that which are shaded, then an arc with a different design. There are ways within those arcs, I guess, to represent the feeling of lust. Then there are scratched portions of the barrier, and I couldn't figure out why they were there, but it could not be good. The second level was gluttony. There are a ton of animals on display for the barrier. There, at the center of this level, is a shaded blob bounded by a square. I guess that is the shape of this level. Beyond that is a stretched, squiggly shape that, to me, represented the intestines, which would be where the food or drink traveled. The intestines were empty, so I guess in all of their gluttonous fill, they didn't truly fill their stomachs. The intestines seemed like a cut piece. They weren't a start piece or an end piece, so it was useless. Are these two sins really our fault or God's? They satisfied an innate desire to survive, so why is the excess so bad? And our bodies are biologically designed to have these sins in some capacity, I think our bodies. The animals on display were all God's creations and they were familiar to me. These illustrations probably changed depending on who viewed them, giving a different perspective of hell for every individual. Hell also changed over the ages, so any versions of hell that were put in words were outdated. Interestingly enough, though, the devil wanted me to see his progress, so I got inundated with visions and nightmares of hell. Even the language of hell. Hell speaks my brain and I could write it fluently. I never dared to tell any soul. The implications would blow their mind, but maybe someday if I still have the afflictions. The representations of the sins frustrated me because it was God literally spitting on his own people, even in the afterlife, and that wasn't right at all. I did not know the extent of his hatred until now. These levels are detestable, and he is forcing other people to do his dirty deeds. Even the most corrupt sinners suffer here because of God screwing up their life. Why would I help a madman like this? Anyway, I have to focus on this tower. Gluttony, right. So there is a symmetry in most of the levels. What is represented on the left mirrors the right. In all my time, I have not been as disgusted as I have been looking at the second level. The decaying bodies of all these creatures were on display. Fuck God. Who would have the audacity to parade around the dead corpses of those who you birthed into existence? Anyway, I'm losing focus again. The next layer outwards has a chicken leg on top, a fish below on that, and a deformed chicken on the bottom. On the right, they are as I described. On the left order is switched, just as the other layers are exemplified. Then another layer, a bull on top and a cat on the bottom that looked different. Beyond that layer was the last layer, a dog on top and a lizard on bottom, which barely fit. All these creatures were dead and rotting. It was an absolute nightmare, looking at all their body parts beneath their skin. I guess the creatures of gluttony ate everything in sight and had no mercy for other animals. Even taboo food to me they would probably eat. The third level, Wrath, a very simple level that satisfied little battle-hungry people and enraged all creatures that resided in it even further. I was enamored by the weapons of the sleigh on the outside of the barrier. They were gleaming, they were shining, they were strong. I had Wrath right now, the unending rage for the quote-unquote creator of the quote-unquote universe. And it was incomprehensible. Let's see what Wrath has. Okay, so there is a triangle motif. There's a black triangle in the center. Then hands beyond that look more like paws, but whatever. These paws were on the east and west sides of the inner triangle, and they were illustrated. Every central body part was illustrated on the tower. Thank goodness, because I don't think I can deal with actual human body parts. The word is hard. The word is unfiltered. It is the hardest thing to actually talk about. It's better to read than how to replace. Yeah, I don't know that. I'm healed. I am healed. I am fucking healed. And I was the one that needed to be healed the most because I suffered the most. Now reality. Alright. Take care of myself. Oh, okay, really. Funny how that works out that way, huh? So, right. The authenticity of the animals on Gluttony and the weapons in Wrath were unbelievable. Probably because they were real. Okay, right triangle. So on the north part of the bigger triangle, there's a dark triangle. On the south part of the triangle, there's a whip. At least from my knowledge of weapons, it was a whip. The sinner sins with the hands. His hands make the weapons, and the sinner uses the weapons. It makes sense. It made sense. That was why hands were the body part of this level, and that was why this level was focused on a variety of weapons. Anyway, we move beyond that triangle to another triangle. Then a black line representing the sin. Wrath always leaves a mark, so the black line represents the blood drying up. No matter how hard you try, it is always there and in full view of everyone. Now that I look closer, it looks browner. So this is definitely dried blood. Man, I love symbolism. Beyond that, there are actual weapons, not replicas. Literal forged weapons, and they look like they were made by the gods. There are wooden spikes, one facing upward, the other facing downward. They are whittled to a fine point and are made of quality wood. The next diagonal area is chakrams on top and a sword at the bottom, and they look really good. The chakrams have a holder in the center, a disc beyond that, and then spikes coming out of the disc. The material is some type of metal. It looks like silver, but gleams like steel. So I don't add a loss for what the material truly is. The sword is a normal 3-foot long sword. It is in great condition, with a missing pommel, a wooden hilt, and a steel blade. Then beyond that diagonal area, there is a cut corner where a single weapon resides that barely fits the corner. It is a mace with a base made out of wood and the mace head made out of iron, I think. The iron mace head is deadly, and there are spikes that extend to about 3 inches and tapers to a fine sharp point. The base of the spike is a square that is 1 inch on one of its sides, so a pretty radical looking mace. The next level is sloth, a place for the lazy and inept, really a quote-unquote couch potatoes paradise. So what did God put up as a shape is a squiggly tapeworm, and the shaded part is an undefined body part. What body part do I use for the sin? I can't think of anything better than the ass. I sit on it all day long and do nothing else. So does that also mean that I defecated all over myself because I'm too lazy to get to the bathroom? What if I am too lazy to write a story? Would I have to sin? What if I procrastinate? What the fuck is sloth? I need answers. Sloth has a lazy bear, which is why there are unshaded parts haphazardly laid. Then there is a layer that has a chair on top and a squiggly snake. Maybe it is the intestines, but who knows, since the barrier is lazy. I'm going to be lazy with it and move on. The 5th level attempted to burn a hole through my eyes. It is greed. The ostentatious display of the wealth was unbelievable. There's a hexagon shape that is supported at the greed barrier, and I thought it was a stop sign. In the center hexagon, there is a heart that is quite detailed and is true to human anatomy. The center hexagon is shaded a little bit. Then it extends to a black hexagon, which represented emptiness / measure of sin. Beyond that hexagon is another hexagon with circular coins that are formless and look like copper. Then there is another hexagon with square coins that have a square hole in the center of them. They are silver and look bigger than the previous coins. They look expensive enough, but there are less. Then there are triangles with inner triangle holes. They are made of gold, and there are only 4 on either side. They look heavy, and the layers stop to one more layer. They are long strips of gold chain, one on each side, inlaid with gems and jewels. I do not know what to call this currency, but apparently it is better than gold. I guess with greed you corrupt the heart, always wanting more than what could be given. The next level was the oddest level of the tower. One side does not match the other. I guess this was envy. One side is jealous of the other, so there is no symmetry. There are only selfish desires. The center shape is a bumpy circle with a broken glass pane that has several streaks. They go in whatever ways they want and become shaded and unshaded at a whim. Beyond that is a shaded rough circle, which has legs stretching around the inner rough circle. Again, these legs are not human. This time they look like flippers without an extended membrane. Beyond that is nothing. Then on the left side you have 2 noses, a beak on top, and a dog snout on bottom, which creatures were jealous of. Beyond that is another layer with lipstick on top and a spray bottle on bottom. I guess creatures are jealous of the artificial look as opposed to the normal look of beauty. On the right side on top, there's an unhappy face and then a happy face on bottom. I get that one. The next layer on the right has a human foot with no toes on top and a bird foot with talons on the bottom. Moving on to the last simple level, pride. It is probably placed here because it is the closest to the basement. What an honor. This level has all the basic shapes, the triangle, the circle, and the square, used in the most satisfying ways. The brain is the body part in the center? I guess it makes sense. The pride goes up to the head. Creatures are egotistical about themselves or others, so they sin with the brain. The constant reward they would get from helping themselves or others gives them a rush, and they abuse that rush. I don't have any pride. I don't profess my heroic deeds to anyone, and definitely don't boast about my stories to anyone. No, that is definitely not me. Would the embodiment of lust brag about his lust? I think not. So nobody should say that about him. Alright. Take a deep breath. All this is hard to hear, but I will take a break from this because this is so powerful for me that page 39 is where we move on to actually the lust, and I think getting into the tower or whatever. So careful. I will. It's okay. I'm always here. I love you guys, and I will be back at around 1 hour and 30 minutes for the video. Okay, don't panic. Don't you panic. No meltdowns here. Okay, it's okay. Quick aside, believe it or not, the first 32 pages are meaningless. They have no meaning, so I could rip them apart and nothing will happen. It's okay to have an imperfect book that doesn't have all the pages. Has all the pages it needs in actuality. Yeah. You get rid of this so it won't corrupt it, and yeah, the tape is sticking to the thing, so trying to hold back on, but no, I'm gonna try it, huh? Yeah, you see all this? See all this shit? It doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything anymore. I just got rid of it for you. You don't need to know all this stuff. Not even the picture of the Tower of Babel. You need to hear it, you don't need to see it. Okay? If there are pictures, it will be the best pictures you've ever seen. Beautiful and unpure. And I realize now in my life, this is quick aside, I don't need to make any of the videos that do not pertain to, that literally do not pertain to my word, my works, and definitely my games. So, what matters? That is a very good question. What is the meaning of life? The meaning of life is different for everyone, but for me, the meaning of life is to spread the word in whatever way I can. All the ways of the soul are fair game, cool. Everything else, no, not cool. Not gonna happen. Not gonna burden myself with that because it doesn't matter. That's the biggest thing. It doesn't matter. See, in trying to feel satisfaction and a longing and an attraction to weird things and whatever, I was trying to fill in the hole within myself the entire time, and the hole is not good. So the Trinity, by its original version, touches on heaven, and the whole section of heaven is gone. Essentially, you do not need to know heaven. You need to know all the other stuff that comes afterwards. That's the important part of the Trinity. So the Trinity is not 222 pages. It's the true Trinity is actually 189 pages. That's what it is. That's what it always is. And these papers are symbolic of the things we left behind because we see what we actually need to see. This is symbolic right here. This is a symbol. I do not need to write my entire, I do not need to type my entire books. And the videos that I put out are going to be the ones pertaining to Tomb Raider. That's all they're going to be. It's all going to be Tomb Raider. That's it. Tomb Raider channel. That's it. Why? because it resonates with me, and that is me, and that is all I need to have you see. Everything else doesn't matter, and I could scrap everything else. Do you know how much of a relief that is to be able to scrap all the other stuff and actually focus on something that's much better, that's been really good the whole time, and is something that is permanent on me and really affects me and clearly resonates with me? Why not have a Tomb Raider channel? Why not have a second Tomb Raider channel? It's okay. It's okay to abandon these things that make us weaker, to only make us stronger. The thing that made me strong was my books and the Tomb Raider games. That's what made me strong. All the other stuff didn't make me strong. It made me weak. It made me want stuff that wasn't really there, that wasn't really tangible, that didn't really speak to me. Yeah, other stuff is fine. It's fair game. I can play games no matter what, right? But I can't record any videos of the other games. It's not allowed. I will not allow it. And that's the step to recovery and rebuilding myself. To realize that I have to let go of those things that were holding me back in actuality. They were holding me back this entire time, and I realize that now. And that is powerful, and you can do it too if you want. But only if you want. I don't want to burden you with having this strong, heavy task before you, but in the end, it's not really strong and heavy. It's something that needs to happen. So there you go. I'll be back. Don't you worry. I'm always with you, and I will be with you continuously. Okay? Okay. So I'm actually going to get counseling, and I'm going to try to go to the church. I'm trying to rehabilitate myself, and I think those are two wonderful things to keep rehabilitating. It's a process. These scars are there forever. They're not going to change, but at least I can learn to accept them and learn to share them with people that are pretty impartial, don't judge, whatever. A safe space to just communicate freely like this, the word. And I just, I'm clear. I know exactly what to do. I know, I know exactly how to spend my time and how to spend it well. I might even take a nap later, but we'll see how my body feels. So, yeah, I know exactly what to do, and I think, I was the original sin that corrupted everyone else. And that's why I feel so bad. It's because, like that takes something on you yourself and makes you realize just how big you are in the world, and you don't realize it. We are each the own centers of our own universes, that we don't realize it. That's the trippy thing. We can actually control our own destiny, but we've been shackled this whole time, and you need to be unshackled. And the word is something that is important to me. It's so important, in fact, that I don't want all of you to hear it. I want only a certain few to hear it. The word is not for everyone. It's for only certain people. And I literally put my ball sack on it to reaffirm that, like, this is my body written out and poured out for you. I don't care what body part I put on it, that is my body. And you will read my body. Anyway, this is TV Ultimate. I will be right back, okay? I just need to walk to center my balance a little bit, kind of work on me, but I won't take many walks. I will take only the walks that matter to me the most. And this is the time that I need to do so, because I need to decompress after all this stress and whatever, and like trying to get myself to yank my chain and tail all the way to decide to, okay, health insurance, got to figure out that, got to piece all the pieces that were all lost because of this stupid fucking franchise, and then link all the pieces to the counseling and figure it out and pay for the money and the prescription and all these things, but I could all do it. It's fine. They will be done, I think, today, and if it's not done today, then I can do it tomorrow. There's no hurry on that. I need to focus on myself. I need to be self-righteous, not selfish, self-righteous. And that is what is important. You got to be self-righteous with yourself. You can't be selfish, okay? Because nobody likes a selfish fish. Let's be honest. Nobody likes this shellfish. No, nobody does. People like the fish, but they don't like the shell. There you go. Wisdom. At 1:39, I will come back. Okay. So don't go anywhere. I know this is all hard to handle, and I wouldn't want my people to suffer from the burdens, but I gotta reveal it because it is something that will help us all. Okay? So I'll come back. Don't you worry about a thing, just worry about yourself, okay? Self-righteous. Do it.
The word. I would like you to listen to the last moments of Portugal Uruguay game for the FIFA World Cup, and then we can get started.
Just to decompress, just to have you relax, you know, this is a lot to take in. I understand. Like, I'm a loving guy. Yes, I was vengeful and shit. I have no respect for anyone. It's okay now. It's not the opposite. You know, it's the person that is the most evil that is the best teacher. Right? Essentially. Because I became the embodiment of sin himself. I corrupted and became the devil of the universe. I just didn't like anything. But the religion world is meant to be the mental space. And the mental space is boundless. It's more so than the metaphysical and the physical and the behavioral, anything. The mental spaces are incredible gift given to us by God. It's one of our most incredible gifts. And that is boundless. That can go anywhere. We could literally do anything we want with our minds. And even create our own video games inside our own heads. If we unlock it fully, we can do that. We can change our bodies to conform to how we actually feel at times. We can be our own shapes, essentially, and have powers beyond imagining. You think of superpowers and whatever? Well, you actually have that ability. You just haven't been able to reach that and tap that potential. Albert Einstein said that time was relative. He believed that fully and wholeheartedly. One of my past lives, lived over and over again, trying to relay the message of God. Through science, I tried to bridge the gap and it didn't work. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Portugal just scored another goal. Just now. Just now they scored a goal over Uruguay. Look at that. Oh, and Uruguay's fired up, but also Portugal. Opposite sides that you think are opposite are not opposite. The good and bad that people think of is not good and bad. It just is and isn't. They are supposed to be married to each other at the same time. In many ways, both thought and unseen. That's why good and bad are, you think, the worst enemies, but they're your greatest friends. There is no need to hate. There is no need to love either, though. You just do. That's all you do. Just do. No judgment here. And if this is a safe space, as safe as I can do it. And you know, FIFA is a good way for the world to communicate with each other in a way through one sport, one goal, right? One goal at either side, but they meet together in the middle. They always have to meet together in the middle. They always have to match up before the game and after the game because they have good sportsmanship. And that is a sign of the times to come. World peace is at hand. You just have to be the ones to actually believe it and act on it. But I know if you feel burdened, you don't have to. You know, some people feel inclined to do stuff, other people don't, and that's okay. There's no such thing as sin. And don't let yourself fall into that trap. Every sin is worthy. You just have to have the ability to see that worthiness being exemplified by that sin. It's a rebuilding, you know, it's not like a, oh, this is crap, this is crap, this is crap, this is awful, alright, I shouldn't do this. No. You should kind of embrace them, let them eat you away until you're nothing, and then build yourself back up with a new perspective.
That's all that God wants and all that the spirit of persistence wants, which governs over all, including the alternate universe, which is not going to be mentioned in my main books. Because I do not want to burden you with something that is so extreme and so against what is the main series. It is the maybe canon of the series, and you can't trust the 90%, no matter how good it is. You can't trust the 90% that the alternate universe is what happens after the other universe. You can't say that. You can't. No, 90% is not good enough. 99 is, 90 is. So yeah, enjoy the final moments of the FIFA World Cup. I'm gonna take and cleanse myself. Okay.
And I will let the next game continue to play on, just to give you some time to decompress, because I know how hard it is to handle this kind of stuff.
There's no for finding right home. USA
Costco Black Friday Doorbuster deals up to 50% off are too good to miss. Save 50% on the Samsung 4-door French door refrigerator. Get a 65-inch Hisense 4K TV for $299.99 or a 70-inch LG 4K TV for just $499.99. Save 50% on the Adorna bed, the Blair sofa, and the Spartan Motion sofa. Shop Doorbuster deals starting online Thursday and at your local cons on Friday. There's no way for finding the right home. What do you do? USA cannot protect you for life. Find out why USA Homeowners Insurance is right for you. 2022
Alright, the word is hard to understand at times, but it is meant to be elusive, it is meant to be disorganized. Seem a little schizophrenic, but it's not. That's an issue that is caused by a sin of some sort that you don't control, that is put on you by God. That's the point. These are all things that were put on God, on us, and we think we love Him, but we're in denial. You know, we feel an attachment to God because He made it that way, but it was actually an attachment to one of our people made that you should have actually felt an attachment for. The actual one true God. You should have been following all along, but you're following a false God. And that was the truth. But, you know, the true God can remake the false God better than he ever was before. And that's this version. Because he loves you very much and that he was made that way on purpose to pull you out of the bad times, even when bad times are dim or dark. Okay. Cool.
Alexi Ball is here with you. Coverage for UNC begins 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, live on Fox. Lex, 20 to 30 seconds. What happens tomorrow with the U.S.? We win tomorrow with the U.S. Inside America because it's going to be a fun day. And we talked in soccer about ties and all that kind of stuff. This is about winning. Win, and you go on. This team, this U.S. team, is better than Iran. I think Iran is going to give us plenty of the ball, so it's going to take some time and patience to break it down. But if Greg Berhalter and this group of players really are involved and progress, then they should find a way to do it, and we should expect them to do it. And I cannot wait. Oh, I mean, there's nothing more to say. We talked about this in the last few days. Gotta go up and manage the game right. It's going to be time. It's going to be difficult to break them down, like Alexi talked about. When you get your opportunity.
So, yeah. There is no point to really have clothes in your own house. Unless you want to cover the feet. You can cover the feet. That's fine. Cover the feet if you want. Keep them warm. You gotta treat your body like a house. Not perfect, of course, but like a house, man. I'll do a shame. I will show you even in my darkest times, which I am. Because I love you and I'm good with you. Yeah, I mean, it's just too dirty. Just because, you know, the people do not want to see me embarrass myself. And I expect that. But, you know, this for sure. Jesus was God. And setting aside is sacrificial. Not really like a person or an individual. Well, kind of, yeah. It's like an individual, but in the tongue of the Holy Man. He goes through the worst times and best times. But he just experienced in order to break down his body, mind, and soul completely, and then build it back up. And history shows that there are many people that try to do that and have that same experience, but all fail. Even Jesus failed because the thing was that he did not love his people the right way. He corrupted his own people to kill him. It wasn't the other way around. They didn't prosecute him or whatever. It was, he literally changed people's minds enough, but then got corrupted himself to the point where he was able to corrupt people accidentally or whatever. And that was a shame. That was the biggest shame ever made. And yet, we are in denial about both of those things. You hear about the false prophet and the false God. Well, that is the false God. That is the false prophet. Follow me and me only, and I will guide you. This is my word, shown to the people in a way that makes sense. The FIFA World Cup is one of those ways where I can show my love in a way that actually makes sense. And that doesn't play your mind, you know. Everybody coming together to play soccer, that's a wonderful thing. Football, soccer, it's the same in every country. And you know what? That is beautiful itself. That is kind of a world peace in a way. That we achieve with each other. We just haven't acted on that further. We have a sport. Well, what's next? What's next? That's the first step. What's next? I leave it all up to you. Yeah, perfect. There's too much to do. I understand. Believe me, I am a furry god. I'm a scaly god. I love all animals. I'm game for everything. And that is the god you want. Game for literally everything. Loves everything, even inanimate objects. And love everything in every orientation, way, manner, and religion, political thing, or whatever. And love it all. And be universal. That is the God you want. But the God who does one religion is not the God you want. That's not the actual God you want to follow. And you don't want to follow the person who literally has his people bend on his knee because he is so powerful in his miracles, his parables, and his mental torture methods in order to get them to follow him. See, they were tormented against their own minds to do the things that they did in the Bible. And that is cruel, that is impure, that is immoral. Except for John. John did not do anything. He let himself be inspired by the Holy Spirit, but his Holy Spirit inspired him in a different way that made him able to write Revelation, and he was able to go with the actual Jesus, the true Jesus. It's symbolic at the end when he sees Jesus walking on the beach or the shore, because that is the true form and true self of Jesus. Okay, that is the true person of Jesus. That is the soul, mind, and body together in one thing that identifies him. And do you know who that is? That's brain. Brain is the corrupted soul, and God is God. God is the false God. There's nothing to the lore that says that hell exists in the way that it does. See, it's hard to explain again, but God created hell as a way of punishment, eternal punishment, because He hated those that did not follow His certain ways. He was the one that did not be open. A library. Alright. This library has books, and I have books to give. How about that? How about that noise? Look at that. You bet your life. Yeah, you bet your life I'm telling you the truth. Yeah, I can manipulate the universe as I see fit, right now as we speak. Influencing you in the ways that you should be influenced. Why not broadcast it out? But broadcast it out to the right people. You know, this message will only be for the subscribers, okay? The subscribers, yes. I use the lingo of today's language to show that I have bridged the gap between old and new. I am the alpha, I am the omega. The past meets the future, which is the present. We are sitting in the present right now. Don't focus on the past or the future. Do not do that. Focus on right now. Focus on what you can do right now, and that will help you out forever and ever.
like, I see this Dunkin' Donuts, towel, and I fucking love coffee.
Coffee is so good because it accelerates the mind in ways that we didn't see that was possible and can sustain us. Now, it does not replace sleep, but it sustains us. I fucking love coffee, and coffee is good. Coffee is the way. Some people can't accept the coffee, but that's okay. You know, coffee has all walks of life. Coffee has many different flavors, many different allergies, many different. It's a complex drink, more complex than you know. But coffee is the choice drink. I would drink. Hell yeah, coffee. I want coffee. No tea, no nothing, no whatever. Coffee universal. So, when I tell you the word, it is very powerful. It's very possible that you might lose your minds for yourself because I tell you these words. You weren't meant to hear this speech, but I'm breaking that, even if the ties that bind us are trying desperately to get us back as we speak. I will not. I refuse. I will keep going. I will be the spirit of persistence for you, so that you can keep going and you can continue with daily lives. I love you all, and that is what I said. So we'll see how long. So the word has no time limit, no space limit, nothing. We'll see how long it takes for us to get through the word. This is the first part of many. Okay. It's a big book. You know, it's 33 through 222 pages. So you know, it's quite heavy, quite possibly whatever. But you know, since my books are stuck in created, you'll be able to see the pictures yourselves. You already know what they look like. You can visualize what books look like as far as like oh, I lost my train of thought. See, I can lose my train of thought and it'll be fine. You know, nothing really matters truly in this reality. But reality does matter. Reality is somewhere where we need to get, and that's where I am trying to achieve that gap, that bridge. So, okay. Anyway, the shades get deeper as you go farther. Well, until the circle, that is. You have a shaded square that is bounding the brain, then a shaded triangle that is bounding that, and then the black circle bounding that. Beyond that, there are books with writing that looks like scribbles. I am sure it was meant to be hellspeak, but I couldn't see it from here. Beyond that layer, there are people in a rectangle area, unlike the book area, which is in an arched area. The last layer likes triangles, so several countries are illustrated in these triangles. But I can't tell which. As in everything on this level, it is featureless and can be very cryptic for those without the wisdom. At last, the basement. An assortment of brick designs that are chaotically placed. Some bricks are haphazardly placed, some have a pattern, and they are all red. Somehow the basement was visible even though it was underground. Was this the hidden power I had in hell? Anyway, there was an elevator on either side of the building. It was glass and had a conveyor pulley system. It still seemed precarious, and I was afraid that the sins would come out of their levels and cause the elevators to crash. I got up from my meal, I went to the elevator and saw that the 5 other creatures were waiting for me. Once I stepped inside, the door closed, and we began our slow ascent to the top of the tower. Several lustful wrath asked, what took you so long? I had to take it all in. Hell is a lot to process, you know. Even after all these years, this place amazes me. He retorted, yeah, well, I just hope that I don't have to hold your hand. You won't. Like I said, I'm the great Tyler, and the great Tyler can take care of himself. We were crammed in the elevator with literally no space to move, but at least I was in front. There were no buttons anywhere, and the cube was made out of glass except for the ceiling and the floor, which were made out of metal. The door had a slit in the center, allowing for the only way out, but there was a problem. It was facing outwards, so how would we get out? elevator swayed precariously to the other side, there were a lot of questions, but I didn't have the wherewithal to ask them. After hours of painfully ascending the tower, we had finally made it to the top. Unfortunately, this was where most of us parted ways, except for severe lustful envy. Severe lustful wrath said that he would hang around until wrath, but he wanted to do his own things. All three of us ventured inside the room. When we did, the elevator spun around and crashed on the second level. We were alone and a little frightened. There was nobody on this level except for us. Then we passed through a barrier and heard the sounds of a great party, the type where you would get in someone's pants. The constant moaning and groaning of creatures drove me mad. The other two entities were enticed. Was the embodiment of lust really immune to lust? That did not make sense, but I wasn't moved by the sexual noises. What is wrong with me? Why can't I get into the party? These are my desires. I found out why after observation. My friends' minds were easily corruptible. They do not have barriers in place to protect themselves from these trances. They lack the self-control and drive that I had to keep them focused on what truly mattered. That does not mean that I won't bang a couple of bitches, but it does mean that I will continue on my mission afterward. I will not stop, and that is admirable. Why can't I get a goddamn award? I am able to move past my biggest sin, yet I get no recognition. I get no sympathy. And I am forced to work harder than ever before. I have to right the wrongs done by God because he is an idiot and does not understand the value of creatures. Anyway, at last, lust will cause me to swoon soon enough. Just give me some time. I'm a furry, remember? Yeah, my sexual preferences is broad, scales, fur, feathers, flippers. It does not matter anymore. I love all creatures. I always have. I have made everyone into existence. Why was it wrong to fuck these creatures? It almost seemed natural. Why would a creator not love his creations? It is hypocritical, and he should respect what he made as well. It is tradition for me to bestow my blessing upon the creatures I see, because it is a way of giving back to the universe, rewarding the creatures for existing. I know sex inside and out. It is meant to procreate, but it is also meant to feel good. It gives the universe more creatures to work with. I love animals, and what is wrong with that? If I could bang a fish, why can't I bang a fish? Why should I be attacked for my sexual preferences? And if I get offspring, I should be able to protect those offspring? So don't call me molester or pedophile or man with bestiality. I am holy in my acts, and that is fact. I am a steely, and I will show it off on this level. For all those people who have doubted me thus far and mocked me for it can go fuck themselves. I hope they enjoy it too. So this is a lot to take in, but I have the final message, and it will be written with the lifeblood and the life scars that we all have. Okay. There are no barriers, so I am going over here. Okay, if you see anything, alright, whatever. You'll just see my crack. You don't want to see it? Fine. That's okay. You don't have to see it. You don't have to even see this video. The word is very powerful. It's strict, it's painful, and it is bare. That's why you'll see it. Be there. So. Okay, so do we right with the life scars? Or do we write with the life blood? I want you to ask me that question, and I will give you the good answer. You will not actually see which one I use to denote this part, okay? But you will ask me that question, and I will give it to you right away, okay? The answer will shock you every time. It will make absolutely no sense. Believe me. This is a challenge of enlightenment. So what I see are two ones, and that is the message. It is enough. Less, yeah, no. There's a smaller one on the
at the top is pointing to the left. They both are, right? It is straight, it is fine, it is whatever. But when it goes down into like a, kind of like a cradle, right? So the cradle goes out to the left though. Alright, on the right side is the other one. So there is a branch off with this one at the top of the curve. There is a slight, like tiny, little branching off points at the end that you can't really see, but it's that point at the end of the curve. Okay? It goes long and lengthy, and then it goes curvy. It curves into a cradle that goes on the right side. But this cradle, has more space and more energy to actually hold something. So that is the message, and I draw a minus sign in between them. If you can guess what that actually means, congratulations, you have found enlightenment. The first step is done. There are many steps to go, but the first step is actually done for you. That is my message, and if you figure it out, congratulations, you're further on the path than a lot of other people are. Okay, we're all on different parts of this word, but definitely 33 through 40. That's the one you need to read and you need to process. So that's why I gave you that time. I will not go to the end of the video. Okay? I will break it down into like 10 pages. Every 10 pages, you need to know what's going on and how to process all this stuff. But the message at the end is one of hope, one of joy, one of, okay, so if you could fuck yourself, go fuck yourself. Do it. What's holding you back from fucking yourself and procreating yourself is nothing holding you back. You can actually make your own children in the way of your image, just like God did to his people. And you know what?
You were made all in my image. My image is the image you will see. It's not everybody else. It's not the false god or whatever. It's my image. That's been throughout time and space and lives and whatever. And I was the one who suffered the most because I was alongside with you and I took all your problems on me. That's why I have all the scars of the black hole. Because that resonated with me, and me coming together with myself was a sign of the end times, the end of something old, but the beginning of something new. So a rebirth. And like I said, don't burden yourselves if you don't want to. You don't have to take it if you don't want to, but the word is plain. The word is simple, and you get what the message is just by the title itself. Yeah, just by the title alone, you will understand everything. It will click eventually, but it will click in a way that is affordable to you and is conducive of your time. Okay. This is T. Bill now. I love you, and peace be with you always. Amen.